JMath.
So you've now learned about double angles, compound angles, and now we're going to see how those new things fit into everything you already knew from Trig in grade 10 and 11. So this video is all about those sums where they say, do this without a calculator, but with the aid of a diagram. The ones where you need to draw a little triangle, do Pythagoras, and then solve the questions. So let's attempt this question. If 5 tan x minus 10 equals 2, and sine x is negative, so I'm just going to stop there, and then I'm going to go through the 4 steps to get my diagram correct. So get sine, cos, or tan alone. So firstly, I am going to move over the 10. So I'm just going to have tan x is equal to, I'm going to move over the 10, so that becomes a 12, and then I'm going to divide by 5. Okay, so now I can see tan is positive, but they also tell me sine is negative. So when I get to step 2, I need to identify the quadrant. So just make a little cast diagram for yourself, and then you tick where is tan positive. So tan is positive in 1 and 3, and then where is sine and negative, that is 3 and 4. And now I'm going to draw my diagram in the quadrant where I have 2 ticks. So this would be this one, and it always goes away from the cross and then back to the x-axis. So just a little tip I always give people, if your triangle is the wrong way around, you are going to lose marks. So just remember bow ties. If your triangle can't form part of a bow tie, then you did it wrong. So there's no diamonds in this type of work. So some people try and make diamonds. That's not going to work. It must be bow ties or butterflies. Okay, now I can draw the triangle and then do Pythagoras to fill in all the sides. So tan is opposite, that's 12, over adjacent, that's 5. So like I always say, now big red lights are supposed to go off. I drew it in the third quadrant where everything's supposed to be negative because I'm going left and I'm going down, but both of these are plus. So what's happening? So technically, they're trying to catch you out because both of them have a minus, even though you can't see it. So it was minus minus, they cancel, and that's why it looks like a plus. But both are actually negative. Okay, so now I just need to do Pythagoras to get the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse in this case would be hypotenuse squared equals minus 12 squared plus minus 5 squared. That is then just going to be the square root of 144 plus 25, and that is equal to 13. So always a positive because it's the hypotenuse. There we go, 13 goes there. Now I need to go through the same process, but with the other triangle. So this triangle I just did was the x triangle. So now I'm going to do this whole thing again with the k triangle. So in this case, I need to get sine alone. So sine of k is equal to 4 over 5. I know sine is positive in 1 and 2, but they tell me tan is negative, and tan is negative in 2 and 4. So I'm going to draw my triangle in the second quadrant. So away from the cross and down to the x-axis. This is k, and then sine is opposite over hypotenuse. I need to do Pythagoras, so I'm just going to say x squared is equal to 5 squared minus 4 squared. That is going to be the square root of 25 minus 16, and that is just going to give me plus or minus 3. In this case, I'm going left, so it must be a minus 3. Perfect, so now I drew the triangles. I can now go and answer the question. So question A, cos x plus k. So that is a compound angle. I'm going to start immediately by just expanding the compound angle. So this would be cos x, cos k, and then it's cos, so the sign changes, and then sine x, sine k. Now, you need to just find a way to make this easier for yourself. So for me, I would use colors. So I know the x part is the orange triangle, and then the k values come from the purple triangle. So if I go and check what is cos in the orange triangle, it would be adjacent over hypotenuse, so minus 5 over 13, and then sine would be minus 12 over 13. Then to go for k, the purple ones, I can then say, okay, so cos in that case is minus 3 over 5, and then for the other one, it is 4 over 5. And now you can really just type that in your calculator. But if you want to try mental math, let's go. This would be 15, that would be 65, and then minus, but there's already a minus, so it would be a plus, and then that would be 48 over 65. And if I add them, I am going to get an answer of 63 over 65. Perfect, that is question 1's answer. So sine 2x, I can just expand immediately, and I know I'm going to work with the orange triangle. So this would be 2 sine x cos x, and I'm just going to say sine is minus 12 over 13, cos is minus 5 over 13. Now you can really just type that in the calculator and get your answer. So the calculator tells me this answer is 120 over 169. Now some people would say, but they told me not to use a calculator. The only thing they mean with that is don't go and write decimals. Okay, so it's fine if you do the mental math with your calculator. Never ever do decimals. Question C, cos 2k. So it's a k, I'm working with the purple triangle, and I can really take any of the 3 options they gave me. So if I have to choose, I would always go for the one where they started off with. So this purple triangle started off with sine, so I'm just going to choose the option that has only a sine in. But you can really choose any one of them. So I'm going to start with 1 minus 2 sine squared k as one of my cos double angles. then I can just go and sub in. So 1 minus 2, I'm going to make a bracket. I'm going to put a square at the outside of the bracket. So sine, we saw, was just 4 over 5. And then you can really just type that in the calculator and give them the answer. So this would be 1 minus 16 times 2 is 32 over 25. And then the answer to this sum would just be minus 7 over 25. Okay, you can definitely expect a question like this in your exams. They love asking this. So something I just want you to just see, just look at the last question, and you can see we had a single angle in the triangles, and then they asked us for double angles. So that's fairly easy. I am just going to use the formulas and then just sub in the single angles once I've made everything single again. But now you're also going to get sums where they start you off with a double angle in the triangle, and then they ask it the other way around. So this is a little bit more tricky. So let's have a look. Step 1 again, I'm going to get sine 2 theta alone in this case. So sine 2 theta is equal to minus root 11 over 6. And they tell me sine is negative, but it's only between 270 and 360, so that's very easy. That only leaves me with fourth quadrant. Okay, so I draw my triangle, and in this case, I put a 2 theta there because that's what they started me off with. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so minus 11 over 6. I can just do Pythagoras, so I'm going to say x squared is equal to 6 squared minus root of 11, also squared, and that's going to give me 36 minus 11, which is just giving me 25, so plus or minus 5 is the answer. This is in the fourth quadrant, so it's in a positive direction if I go to the right. Perfect. That is now done for my triangle. Now I can just go and get the answers. So in question A, they just asked me cos 2 theta. So very important. The triangle is already a 2 theta, so I don't need to use any formulas or double angles or anything. I can just tell them I know that cos 2 theta is equal to, and then adjacent over hypotenuse, so 5 over 6. That's it. That's all I need to do for question A. Now, for question B, this is now where it gets a bit more tricky. So I can't just half the answer because it's half of an angle. I now actually need to go and take my answer for A and expand it with one of the double angles. So obviously they want a cos, so I'm going to take the option that only has a cos. So I'm going to start with cos 2 theta equals 5 over 6. The option I'm going to take is 2 cos squared theta minus 1, and I now know it's equal to 5 over 6. And now I'm just using algebra to get cos theta alone. So firstly, I'm going to take the 1 over, so that becomes 11 over 6, and this is still cos squared theta. Then I'm going to divide by the 2, and that will give me 11 over 12, and then I'm just going to square root the other side. So the final answer to this is the square root of 11 over 12. Now, if you type it in the calculator, it's going to give you a different answer. That's fine. You can just leave it like it is now. Okay, so for question C, I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm just not going to choose the cos double angle. I'm going to choose the, still cos 2a, but I'm going to choose the option that only has sine in it. So I'm starting at the same point, still 5 over 6. But now this is 1 minus 2 sine squared. Theta equals 5 over 6. Again, I'm going to take over the 1, so that just stays the same. And then if I take over the 1, this is minus 1 over 6. I'm going to then divide by minus 2 and square root. So this would just be 1 over 12. And the final answer to this question is then just the square root of 1 over 12. So that is the first part of these triangle sums, where they actually give you values and you can work it out. We're going to do another one where you need to do everything in terms of an alphabet letter or a variable. And then I'm going to load a practice video. So please practice this and see if you really understand it.
If this video helped you, please like and subscribe.
JMath.